And welcome back to What If Week. We're starting a brand new long-term What If. I've got one currently going on at the moment, and this is probably going to be the other one because I usually have a Wednesday, and a Sunday one. So this is probably going to be a Sunday one until the next, week of What If. But this one comes to us not just from Lawrence Nelson, but also from, and I might get the name wrong, Goated_XJ, who asked the question, what if Gine and Bardock had actually gone to Earth with Goku? Now, thanks to the revamped lore, we know that Gine, we know that they were there. They're the ones who sent off Bardock. Sent off Goku to Earth. We saw them, send him in his pod and everything like that, and they wished him luck. And their reasoning for that was they didn't go with him. Bardock's reason is that Frieza and his men would sense their battle powers, or as they call them, their power levels. They'd pick them up on their scouters. So, and when you think about it, yeah. But what about a scenario where that doesn't happen? Where they don't? How would that work? Well, here's my theory. We're going to play a little fast and loose here. What if this whole idea that Bardock senses that Frieza's going to destroy the planet comes by a little earlier? Let's give it about a year. And he thinks about the plan. He talks about the plan. Now, he can't save Raditz. He can't say Raditz is going to be off-world. That's not what's happening here. In fact, that's actually a different what if entirely of what if Goku's family had gone. Family is different than mom and dad. In this case, because he's got more than just a mom and a dad. So he's not going to be saving. But what if during that time between then and Frieza destroying the planet, they actually practice in suppressing their battle powers? In 1 second, Gine. DB's. Alright. Let's see here. Well, I just want to be sure if they give a power level for Gine or not. Gine. Power level. Let's see. Did they give her power level for Gine? I don't think they do. Alright, hold on. We might have a power level. Anyway, while I'm doing that, talking. So Gine suggests, well, can't we just, practice and try to suppress our powers? Suppressing our powers, And then he thinks that's stupid at first, but then he realizes, maybe. All right. So we have video game and we have manga. Before she retired from Bardock's team, Gine was a low-caste Saiyan warrior. However, unlike her husband, son, her dental personality apparently made her unsuited for combat, and Bardock routinely had to save her from dangers on the battlefield, indicating either low fighting ability or due to a lack of the ruthlessness of her husband in combats. As a result, Gine retired from the army and went to work as a Saiyan meat distributor. Great. In the games, like most characters, can fire low ki blasts. So it doesn't give an actual power level. Yeah, she can obviously go grade 8 if she has to. Yeah, we don't actually have a legitimate power level for Gine. And Bardock, if I'm not mistaken, was around 10,000, if I'm not mistaken. Or not, was it 9,500 or 10,000? I just looked this up yesterday. So I could, Bardock, power level. 1 second. Sorry for dilly-daddling on this. Bardock, power level. There we go. I believe he was... Yeah, so, early the legendary... No, not... Yeah, Bardock, power level... Yeah, Bardock's son of Goku. They say nearly 10,000. So, right around there is where you would probably be. We'll put him at 10,000. I've heard like 900, 9,500, 10,000. For sake of even numbers, let's say 10,000. Anyway, so if they're practicing, so actually that would put him right near King Vegeta's strength level. So he was actually a Saiyan elite in terms of his power when you really think about it, compared to what they had back then. So they would actually spend the next year or so training on that. And let's be clear, training on that would probably increase their power level a little bit. They're practicing mostly to reduce their power, but proper ki control and, of course, still going out on missions does help increase their power overall. So when it's all said and done, I won't give Bardock anything serious of a boost. We'll go 12,000. I think that's fair. which actually puts him stronger than King Vegeta if they knew that. But they wouldn't know that because he learned to suppress his power. So his actual power and ki control is somewhere around the level of... so when it's being read, it's more like when the Z Fighter showed off, like around 10,000 or 1,000. And Gine, also having to learn this technique, actually gets some training in. Now, she's probably either on the low end of power, or she just had a very passive nature, but she was still a lower class warrior as it was. Now we know that. We do know that guy. I can't remember his name. That Paragus had went to save Broly on that planet in Super. Was weaker than 900. We know that because he read Broly's power level and said, "Oh, that's not even. I'm not even that strong right now." That's what he said. So more than likely, he was probably somewhere in the 5 to 7 range. I would imagine because Gine spent more time on the battlefield, though, granted getting saved a lot, you could put her at 1,000. I think 1,000 is a relatively solid number. And I think her suppressing herself would probably be more like 500, and no one would bat an eye at it. So when they finally sense the day coming, they actually get ready. He puts Gine and Goku in the same pod, and he follows in suit, and they're barely able to make it off the planet Vegeta, but they do. So then they crash land on Earth. Let's get into some shenanigans. So as they crash land, they would still crash where Gohan is, Grandpa Gohan. But Gohan's like, "Oh, what's this?" He's like, "Oh, this looks like it's a local." It's like, "I'm sorry, look, we're not looking for trouble." It's like, "Well, I'm wondering what. I don't know why I'm sounding like this for Grandpa Gohan, but I do kind of remember him sounding like that. Goku. I do remember that voice a little bit. So." He said, "Well, I have a home and place to eat if you'd like to explain." It's like, and he sees ships like, "Aliens? Oh God!" So he's trying to process this, and all their stomachs just suddenly growl. Just roar. It's like, "Well, if you'd like to come to my home, and I've got plenty of food, and you can tell your tale, or tails, as it were." Oh, it's like, "Is that a crack? What do you mean?" And he sees the tails. "Oh, I was not aware. I'm sorry." It's like, forget it. Yeah, food sounds good. Yeah, come on, honey. So they go and they're all eating. It's like, Gohan's just like, "Oh man, they can just put it away." And they explain their story, and Gohan just, whoa. So they're just he's just trying to figure this out and what's going on here. But he says until they can figure out a more stable scenario, they're more than welcome to stay here. It'd be nice to have some company for a change. And, Bart's just, Gine's just more, it'd be more like, that's that'd be great, And I have no, I don't think we have much else other of a choice. We don't have much else choice right now. Or we don't have much else of a choice. What? How would that sentence be grammatically? I'm pretty good at grammar, but for some reason, that it's just coming out. It's not like we have much of a choice. I think that's what I was trying to go with for that sentence. And Bardock's a little more iffy because he doesn't immediately trust. Obviously, being more of an actual warrior, he doesn't immediately trust him. But Bardock didn't seem like a conqueror, particularly because he was just a grunt and everything along those lines. He did his job. Now that he doesn't have to do that. He's still a warrior. He still would be he would still roughhouse and fight when he wanted to or had to, but he wouldn't be going around causing trouble necessarily. It's not like he didn't have that Saiyan pride that Vegeta's burdened and blessed with. Let's be clear. Vegeta's Saiyan pride is both a burden and a blessing. So they would spend now. Meanwhile, Kami would have sensed that even on the low end of their power level, suppressing Bardock at 1,000, Gine at maybe a couple hundred. That's stronger than Kami by a long shot, and Kami would sense that, and he would be wondering what he was sensing. He would sense them. He'd be keeping an eye on them. In fact, Kami would probably be keeping an eye on these guys for a while, to be sure that they are. They're safe before maybe, sending Mr. Popo or someone to, collect them and talk with them. So they would be spending the next, and I got corrected on, in my Goku Raised by Whis video about Goku's age. Apparently Goku's 12 when Bulma shows up because he couldn't count properly. With Gine and Bardock and Gohan there, Goku's never been the brightest bulb on certain things. He'd have a bit better, he'd at least have a better understanding of how to gauge his age. And he'd probably understand some social interaction, like don't pat a girl on her crotch, for instance, and the difference between men and women. I'm sure he'd actually get that. So, because he's not raised by himself. He's not living by himself now. And also, he's got both his father and Gine there to keep him in check in case he goes grade ape. So that they keep their tails. He's still named Kakarot. And for the next 12 years or so, life is actually pretty okay, you know? And by the way, did they give an age for Bardock? I know Saiyans age slower, and they don't start to really rapidly age until they hit around their late 70s, early 80s. Let me see here. Bardock age. 1 second. Because Gine is probably younger than Bardock. Not by a lot, but by a bit. Bardock age. Let's see here. Did they give an age for Bardock? How old is Bardock? Radz is being an 8-year-old when Kakarot was born. So, that actually gives you a good time frame of. So Radz is 8 years older than Goku. So he's in his 30s. Bardock was probably around 18 to 22 when Radz was conceived, and since that seems to be when people in Goku's lineage have their first kid, makes sense. So there's no concrete answer to how old he is. Generally speaking, after 12 years, when we first conceived Raditz, 8 years, that'd make him 30, and then he's being in his 40s. But again, the Saiyans are in their prime. So 12 years pass, and during those 12 years, I do think, like, maybe halfway through the 12 years, he was gauging the Saiyans, and realized that they are not a threat. They're not a threat. They're basically here peacefully. And Bardock's gone around and maybe gotten into some fights, but he's actually done it with the intent of just getting that itch out of the way, and he's done it to make sure to help people, or at least made sure he's not robbing banks, he's not blowing things up just to blow things up. He, generally speaking, is just doing his thing, and occasionally even helps someone now and then. It's like, don't mention it. Literally, don't tell anyone I was here. And flies off. And through those years, they're training a bit. Like Bardock, him and Gine both know that. But that being said, Frieza's it's tough because he didn't get into higher power levels until the Saiyan saga. And Frieza even then didn't stop by Earth. He stopped by Namek instead. Not saying he wouldn't have stopped by Earth when having sense power levels of that caliber, but who knows. I think Bardock and Gine, keep their power suppressed, but still train while suppressing their power, which is another great way of training. Meanwhile, with both his mom and dad there to help train with him, more so his dad, but his mom also, Gine helps now and then to train. And they would all increase the strength. Goku, instead of being power level of 10, because Bardock, as we learned from Broly, Dragon Ball Super Broly, Bardock knew his son's actual hidden potential. Like his son had a massive amount of hidden potential, as we saw in the series how much potential Goku actually had. And he'd probably definitely try to train with that. Obviously, he wouldn't train his kid immediately. Like Goku needs to first start to develop a little bit. But once he hit a couple years old, he started training his son. Around 6, when Kami does meet him, I would imagine Goku is around 50 in terms of his power level. Nothing amazing, but far more than what he was initially. Bardock and Gine also, like Gine's power level, I want to say, is around 1,000, give or take, like I said. And her power level was just some training. I think with like 6 years of training before they meet Kami, she's up to 2,000 when she's not suppressed. Again, they're mostly training suppressed, which is actually a much better way of training when you really think about it, because that way you're suppressing yourself a lot more, and therefore you're concentrating your energy. There's different ways to train. I think that'd be actually a pretty solid way to train. Plus, Gine's not really a warrior per se. Then Bardock probably, with his own training, plus training his son and training with his wife, would very likely I put him at 12 before he left Vegeta. I'll put him at 15. Again, nothing serious because, again, they're suppressing their power, and Bardock also doesn't have extremely strong fighters to train with. Gine and Goku, despite how they're progressing, aren't the strongest per se. So his progression will be a lot slower, but he's also probably training on his own at the same time. So, and I could have theoretically spliced another what if into this, but I'll say that for a different one instead because it plays out. I would imagine they'd have one more kid. A married couple, they get some time together and they don't use condoms, so who's to say they wouldn't have one more kid? And we'll make this one a boy too. The what if Goku had a sister? That's a different what if I'll do. This one will also be a boy. So Kakarot, Radz, name him after a vegetable. So Cumbers was Cucumber from Dragon Ball Heroes. Let me know about a name. If you can think of a name, let me know. I'd be interested to hear a name. And I don't know. I don't do polls or anything, but bring some names and I'll go by a like meter if people like the comments. Right off the bat, though, I'm trying to think. Eggplant. I'm trying to think what. Eggplant? Eggplant? Nope. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of one. Addressed off the top of my head. Celery. Oh, let's go with Celery. So, Celery, or not Celery. Celery. I think that works. Celery. Though that could be a girl's name too. So, just because of saying names. Radish. Yeah, I'm just spending time thinking it. Anyway, they'll have a son. He will be Goku's younger brother, and he's about half Goku's age. Now, and right around the time he's there, or they have him, that's when Kami himself actually stops by. And this is the first time since they've been on Earth that they actually sense a relatively strong power level. Like, Kami's power, I think, is like around 300. It's not quite 300, but it's higher than your average power level. Kami, Dragon Ball Z power level. What was Kami's power level? I want to say it was I've seen some say it was like 300. Kami's power level. Kami Ultra Dragon Ball Wiki. What the hell is Ultra Dragon Ball? I have no idea. Kami Dragon Ball. Okay, let's see. Did they give me an actual power level here? Because there was also when he disguised himself as I can't remember the guy's name. He disguised himself up to compete in the martial arts tournament. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so statements by authors and guidebook. Goku, when meeting Goku, is placed around. The power level when meeting Goku is 220, which is weaker than King Piccolo's 260 when his youth is restored. The movie pamphlet, Might states that Kami has a power of 400, but the movies are not canon. So 220. That's what we're gonna have Kami's power at, which is impressive for an old Namekian, definitely. And yeah, even Gine, like, he could beat Goku, but he fully knows that he can't beat any of these guys. But he's there, and then he introduces himself as Kami. It's like, I'm Kami. I'm the guardian of this planet. And it's like, I see. It's like, you're here to start something? Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just here to introduce myself. I sensed you when you arrived. And if I wanted to, I could have removed you at any time I wished. Because he has the Dragon Balls. He could have just popped them somewhere else. But I wanted to gauge you. I have been observing for years to see if you were a threat. I've come to the conclusion. You pose no immediate threat. And he's talking about, but there's more. Your strength is beyond. I can tell you suppress your power. Your strength is much farther beyond this. In fact, farther beyond me. And then they got an interaction. And then he once again explains himself explains the scenario to Kami. Here's this, and now remember, Kami can actually communicate with King Kai. So I actually think he would actually talk to King Kai about this, being that King Kai would actually know more about the overall state of the universe. And, it's true. Frieza is a terrible warlord. However, let them know this. And like, it seems so according to King Kai, it's a King Kai. Yes, he's a deity who hovers over our quadrant of the universe. According to King Kai, you can actually use your power to more full extents due to the fact that you're so far away. Again, we actually don't have any proof that their higher power level would have actually attracted them. So it's like, how can I trust you? If not, I can actually do something about that. And they actually would get. And actually, here's the thing: they would get the Dragon Balls, make a wish and make a wish that would shield the planet from detection. Like would put like an aura or a veil around a planet from any unauthorized detection. Like if there's already a plotted course or something like that. Is sure, like if there's already in the systems like Raditz, Vegeta systems, yeah, sure. But in terms of actually sensing power levels, you can't sense power levels on the planet now. At least not from out of space. Like there's a veil wrapped around a planet, so you can sense power levels on the planet. You just can't do it otherwise. Also, I think at this point in time, Bardock and Gine and Goku could actually sense power levels on their own. Granted, again, Goku is very weak comparatively. So now fast forward real quick to the next 6 years where Goku meets Bulma. That would put, again, Bardock would be in his 40s. Gine, if she's younger than Bardock, probably by, I want to say, let's go by 5 years. 5 years, push her 17 when she had Goku or Raditz. So when she had Raditz, then 8 years later, 25. So Gine would be about, she's 5 years younger than Raditz or Bardock. So put around 37. So she's still relatively young. Gine now that they realize they can train a bit harder, they've been able to train a bit harder over these years. Which has allowed over 6 years of training has allowed Bardock to hit, roughly speaking, I had put him at 15. We'll put him at 20. 20,000 is a solid number. Again, because he doesn't have much else to train with it. Like, Tommy even brings them up to the lookout at points. He explains the hyperbolic time chamber to him, that he'd be welcome to use it, but he needs to, he'd wait. He even says, I'd wait till your son's older so you two can go in together and be able to withstand the mental training that would be required for that. And Bardock actually likes that idea. It'd be a good bonding experience with him and his son. So or him and his sons. So yeah, and actually that's another idea too, where he takes I gotta think of a name for this. Beat? No, Beat's a different guy. No, that was that guy's name in Dragon Ball Super Broly too. Beat. Solari. We're going with Solari until someone gives me a better name. So him and Solari, who again is probably not as strong as Goku, obviously. 6 years, at the age of 6, he's probably about 100 in terms of his power level. Goku now having actually been developing a bit more as a fighter and everything along those lines, having been able to get some better food in him, is also a little taller as well. Nothing huge. Like instead of the shrimpy kid who's like 2 foot nothing, he's like 3 foot nothing. Point being, he's maybe like 1.5 times bigger, a foot taller maybe. Let's go with a foot taller. But that would also give him a lot better abilities in terms of fighting abilities. Give him a lot more growth in terms of his fighting and his power. So we had 50 at age 6. We'll put Goku at a solid 200 at this point. 6 years of training with his dad. Yeah, and maybe even going to look at every now and then, training with even Popo, helping with the whole, basically the precursor to Ultra Instinct is reacting without thinking, kind of. So that's where he is, and then Bulma ends up at their house. Oh, and Gine would probably be at 5,000 at this point. I think that's a fair number. 3 more years. Well, no, 2,000. All right, we'll go 3.5. 3,500. I think that's a fair number. Again, she's not much of a fighter according to what we know, but she would still get some training in now and then, particularly because Bardock's there. So basically, it's going to end with Goku bringing some fish home for his dad, brother, his family, and getting hit by Bulma, and them explaining the scenario, or they explaining the scenario. Bulma's like, oh, you hit me, and just tries to shoot Goku, who's actually able to catch the bullets like Roshi did. It's like, whoa, what the heck's wrong with you? And Goku probably know what a gun is, because his dad's probably encountered people with guns. And then Bardock, Gine actually senses what's going on, meets up with her, and Bulma's like, oh, it's like, who are you? It's like, oh, well, I'm Bulma. It's like, you're still a little old for my son, but... And then, there's an interaction between them, explains that she's going on an adventure for the Dragon Balls. And it's like, can I have this Dragon Ball? It's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. It's like, oh, you want it? Go ahead. Yeah, we don't really need it. We're under, we made a deal with the creator of these that we can't go out of our way to find them. But we don't really need them anyway. It's all good. So it's like, what? You guys know the creator? Yeah. No, we hang out at his place all the time. He's a cool dude. It's like, what? And then they actually, he's like, yeah, well, if I could really use help finding the rest and everything like that. It's like, yeah, well. And then Gine, I actually think it's Gine who actually like, well, why Goku? Why don't you go with her? It's like, what? It's like, it's important that you see more of the world. There's more to the world than just this, just the wilderness out here. There's cities and things along those lines. Your dad's taking you there a couple times before, and it's important you go and see it on your own merit, through your own eyes, and make your own judgments. Like, oh, but I'll miss you, Mom's like, oh yeah, but we'll be here when you get back. Besides, Kami even said, we're pretty much the strongest guys on the planet. No one's gonna mess with us. I think even Grandpa Gohan would be a little stronger, having occasionally getting to train with them, and even giving them some lessons. Remember, Gohan's a master martial artist in his own right. So whereas Bardock and Goku were probably brawlers for a while, actually Goku got lessons from his Grandpa Gohan anyway. So where Bardock was probably a brawler for a while, Gohan actually probably taught him legitimate technique, which actually improved his style quite a bit. So yeah, that's where we're gonna leave it. And Celery is gonna be like, I want to go to. Nope, you can't go. Sorry, when you're a little older. So it's like, aww. So that's where we're gonna leave it off. Is that Goku has a brother named Celery. Again, you can put a better name in the comments below. I'll use it. I'll go with the name that got the most likes. The name that got the most likes, that's the name I'll go with. Or a name that I just think sounds amazing. It sounds like awesome. Like that's a good name. Because you hear so many names and you're like, yeah, most of the vegetables have been taken. Anyway, so that's where we'll leave off. Goku and Bulma going off to do their own quest for the Dragon Balls. Bardock and Gine just chilling at home with the kid, with Celery, or insert future name here. And Kami, being aware of them, even offering them training. And I will say this. Once we get past the World Martial Arts Tournament, I think you're probably going to get that a bit of a time skip with Goku and Bardock in the time chamber. That I think it's going to be like a rite of passage kind of thing. Or probably around the King Piccolo arc is where we're going to see that happen. Till then, though, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, stars, superhero, magic, what if. Anything to do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time, folks.